I'm really questioning some of the Bible stories, and I think some of that stuff in the Bible is set up to train black people to be submissive to systematic racism and white supremacy. That I believe.
Now, this is comedian Rickey Smiley. For those of you who may not be familiar, Rickey Smiley is a Christian who's a comedian. He's not a Christian comedian per se, as in he doesn't do clean comedy, but he is a Christian who grew up in the church, and he's a comedian. And most of his material centers around the church and is about the church. So for him to come out and say that he's questioning the Bible is a pretty big deal. And the purpose of this video is to illustrate to the viewer that it's not just a bunch of fringe thinkers like myself who are speaking out against the Bible. There are people who grew up in the church and studied the Bible and now have learned that the Bible is not what they were taught it was.
That
Explain that.
Turn the other cheek or whatever. People don't mess with nobody that fight back. People do not mess with nobody that fight back. Black people have been taught to forgive and turn the other cheek for 400 years. And what has changed? Nothing. Nothing.
Well, I mean, the Bible and the church were used as a means of control.
I believe that.
Times.
I really believe that.
Well,
see, I'm gonna tell you what. The God concept is not what bothers me. It's the concept of the devil. The devil doesn't fucking exist.
You think that was made up for control?
It's definitely what keeps you away from God is fear and doubt. And peep this. If God is infinite, right?
Right.
Regardless of what religion you believe in, God is the top, right? If you were the top, would you create anything to rival you?
Now this is David Banner, a well-known producer / rapper. David Banner is speaking about logic here. The thing that we like to do on this channel is to take people out of their religious upbringing and their religious teaching and encourage them to use logic and reason about their beliefs. So what David Banner is exercising here is an exercise in logic. So why would God create a rival or an adversary? It makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
It doesn't fucking make sense.
A lot of religion doesn't make sense, though. No disrespect to anybody.
And the part that does it, I'm not saying that all religion is not a place for it, but think about this, bro. Like, why would any one thing have the lock on infinite knowledge? Things are as they were, as they will be. Why would they be a New Testament? God is what he was and will forever be. Like, dude, and then the thing that I don't understand about black people is these are the same people that enslaved you. That's the same symbols that enslaved you. And I'm not just talking about Christianity. There's another religion that black people really believe in that started slavery. So in me saying that, like, bro, like, these are the same people that have forever lied to you. That didn't want you on earth. Why would they give you the key to heaven? They didn't want you on fucking earth.
Now notice the similarities between what David Banner said and what Rickey Smiley said. They both agree that religion is used as a tool of oppression specifically against the black community.
Line we gonna go with.
And the number one fucking myth that I just really am bold enough to say it is this Christianity shit. I just cannot believe how somebody can stand on some shit they heard about from the motherfuckers that brought you over here in boats.
This is another comedian by the name of Kweli Kush. If you're not familiar with Kweli Kush, he hosts a podcast on YouTube every Tuesday night called The 5150 Show. I really advise you to tune in. It's actually pretty funny and you might learn something. But in this episode, Corey decides to talk about Christianity. So let's see exactly what he has to say.
I can't believe it's still working. Once your mind reaches a certain level, it seems like you'll be like, hey,
that shit don't add up.
That don't sound right.
This one dude had this shit on his shit. It ain't no dates in this motherfucking book. It ain't no dates.
That right there? Ain't no dates.
When did this shit happen? When did this shit go down? You know what I'm saying? It's like,
and here's the other thing. Nobody. This is the 800, 900 pound gorilla in the room, elephant in the room. Nobody wants to talk about regarding the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, all these books. The same people who run your governments are the same people who wrote them books.
And there are people who just don't want to embrace that.
They don't want to embrace that concept.
I mean, we can come back to that point. Let's come back to that point. We're going to take a break, and we're going to talk about the shit you stand on, where you get that info from.
Now, the person Corey Holcomb is talking to goes by the name of Zoe Williams, who also hosts a podcast. So you should check him out too, the Zoe Williams Show. And yet again, we hear them mentioning slavery. It seems like slavery and religion go hand in hand.
But I'm saying, look, what I'm saying, I know from the last segment, there's going to be a lot of Christians who are upset with me. And I don't want you to be upset with me. I don't. I want you to reason with me one day. Because bottom line, you cannot justify the shit you standing on. If you can, come holler at me and justify what you're talking about. Especially my black Christians in America. Most of you. Now this is me. What do they call it when you call us a whole group of people? This might be racism. What I'm doing, I'm profiling,
discriminating.
I'm discriminating against black Christians.
Okay, here we go.
Most of you have not read that book that you started on,
and you're making a general.
I'm just saying, most of you. This is my opinion. Most people who go to church have not read the book that they hold up as a weapon against you.
Now, Corey's actually right about this, because I, Kweli Kush, am an atheist. Now, Corey Holcomb and David Banner and Rickey Smiley and the rest of the people who will be seen on this video may not proclaim to be atheists. However, we do agree on all of these points. I talk to Christians all the time on my show. And most of them are not as well versed in the Bible as my atheist cohorts. And it's actually laughable. How can you hold something up and say it's true when you haven't even read the entire book? Do not let an atheist such as myself bring a Bible verse to your attention that you are not familiar with. It makes you as a Christian look bad and incompetent.
What is that?
Somebody said Jesus hates Corey.
You know what?
I'm just saying.
No, you're
when
right,
you
though.
quiz people on this book,
You're right.
most of them only know the shit they remember that was told to them. They don't remember the shit they read. You see what I'm saying?
They definitely not living it.
They haven't
definitely not
opened the
living
book
it.
and read it from woo woo woo.
No, he's 100% right. Some people will sit here and go, Corey don't know what the fuck he's talking about, right? You know how our people are. We question and we ridicule the source if it's coming from a black mouth. But if it's coming from a white mouth, we at least give it the benefit of the doubt. Corey is saying some real shit, and if you don't back it up with some type of white source, black people be like, Corey don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
If you've never studied the Bible and you are over 30 years old, but you stand on the Bible, you are like you anti-Bible. Does that make sense?
Wow.
Yeah, it makes sense.
No, that
It
makes
does make
100%.
sense.
You're anti-Bible if you're standing on this thing and you have not even put the time and effort into what it takes to know what you're
Go get
standing
the
on.
book.
Right.
Religious literacy.
I can't point you out. I don't know who you are by seeing you, but if you are the type of person who talks to people about this fucking Christianity shit and you've never studied it, I ain't even say read the book. I'm talking about
Study it.
if you standing on this shit, you need to know what the fuck you standing on.
Right.
What the fuck is wrong with you? You're just a bunch of singing, cackling, after church, eating chicken niggas.
Oh my God.
Tell me if I'm wrong, man. If I'm wrong, I could be checked. But
cackling.
the church I went to was a whole bunch of singing, gay choir director having ass. Man, once I got a certain age, I realized, I told my mama, I said, Mama, I can't hang around them weirdo motherfuckers. And my mama was like, those are church folks. I was like, Mama, them are the fakest motherfuckers I've ever seen in my life.
But you know what? It applies to most religions too, though.
That's
it's
true.
not just Christianity. Christianity might be the most egregious.
Right.
Well, that's the one that hits
Because
me
this
the
is where-
hardest because I was brought up on that.
Yeah, this
Right.
is where we
That's
were
the
brought
one-
up.
yeah.
But Islam is the same way. Do some research on Islam too. It's got it.
Judaism. Every single one.
They've all got their lies. They've all got their manipulation.
Now,
but if you
They all got their lies.
Now, I agree with Corey once again on the point that he made. If you're going to hold up the Bible as if it's true, have you studied it? Do you know when the books of the Bible were written, when the Bible was compiled, how many books there are in the Bible, and who wrote those books? Most people who claim to believe in the Bible don't know these things. This is a problem. So now, this is only part 1 of a 3-part video series that I'll be bringing you. So please be sure to tune in to part 2 and part 3 of this series. But for those of you who have just listened, I want to know what you think about this. So leave a comment under the video and let me know your perspective. It doesn't matter if you're an atheist, a Christian, or Muslim, or whatever. We want to know what you think about this, especially my Christians. What do you have to say about what you've heard in this video? Leave a comment below and be sure to like and subscribe for more.
When you believe in things that you don't understand.